Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us today from. Welcome to Open Source Friday. We made it. We made it. Friends, this has been a really long week, but it's been like such a productive week. For me personally, it's been a great week for open source. I've been doing some really fun things, supporting community things that matter. Like, it's been a good week for open source. And today, I am thrilled. I'm Andrea. I'm also thrilled to have one of my favorite projects in open source here with us. I started using this project and I'm trying to remember how I came across it. And I think it was a combination of people, maybe it might have even been Scott Hanselman who first talked about this on one of his talks, and I saw it. I honestly cannot even remember how I came across it, but ever since I did, I for sure have recommended it to every single person that I talked to. I used it for my own demos and things online. And now that we're doing a lot of things with uh, really natural language, like it makes complete sense that we're using a transcription service. This is one that's free and open source, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's like by far the most accurate one that I've ever used. And I'm just thrilled that the maintainer accepted our invitation today. So we're gonna bring him on in a moment. Hello, Randy. Welcome from Colombia. Randy, I'm gonna be there on Sunday. I'm excited. We'll have to talk about that later. But I'm gonna share first of all. Let me share the website, and then we're gonna bring CJ. And I am so grateful, CJ, because I know you are in APAC, and it's late for you, right? Like it is like the end of your day.
It is 9 p.m. right now. It is 9 p.m. But thank you so much for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I read the story about, well, it's in your about page, right? So I read the story about how you guys started, why you guys started with this project. And I mean, I've never felt more like this is the whole spirit of open source. Like, this is why people do open source a lot of times, to fix our own problems. And you had a big problem to fix for yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about the background as to like how Handy became Handy?
Yeah, it's funny. The beginning of last year, I think it was January 2nd, I was in a park just with some friends setting up a slack line, and I ended up breaking one of my fingers on my right hand. And you can kind of see it's still a bit deviated there. But as a result, like a few weeks later, I was put into a cast on this hand, and I was still having to work, and of course, using a lot of AI even then. And I kind of knew, like, well, I'm not going to be able to type. Typing with one hand is extremely difficult, and I also knew because I had worked with Whisper and I like contributed Whisper file to Mozilla's Llama file project previously, that I knew I could basically run this on my Mac locally very easily. So I whipped up like a small script, accessibility script for myself so I could like continue to do work. And I just kept hacking on it and kind of like made it really good for myself. And I kind of just thought it was like a funny thing that, like, oh yeah, now that I can really only use one hand, that it's like still possible to use my computer basically to 95% of like with a keyboard. And I thought that was like magical and remarkable. And also I wanted to bring it to more people. And that's where the Handy project actually got started. Because it really was just a simple Python script initially. But I figured that I also like volunteer in the like adaptive climbing community, or at least when I was living in San Diego. And like a lot of my friends, like this technology, accessibility technology, really deserves to be for everyone, and it often can be quite expensive and inaccessible. And I also saw, I was very aware of Super Whisper and other projects out at the time, but I knew I didn't have to pay money for it because I knew I could run it locally on my own machine. And I also needed to customize it because I had a broken hand, and most of these tools are not catering to someone with a broken or like a broken finger, but not catering to that crowd. And I figured, like, really putting this out, open sourcing it, and letting people play with it with AI agents and things like this to customize it for their needs is like pretty important, and just making a really solid foundation overall for people to play with and experiment with. And I also think it's like a very interesting way to use a computer generally. So yeah, that's a little bit of the background. I'm so sorry.
No, it was me. I was muted. I'm so glad your finger is okay-ish now. And then, like, what an amazing origin story. I'm so happy that, I mean, I'm sorry that happened, but thank you. My colleague actually was, I guess she was about to swap from, because there's like layers. I mean, I honestly, I have not used a transcription, even like the mobile devices, like the speech to text recognition is so bad. Like it's so frustrating. And I know that there's been a couple like my team have used, and especially we have to do like a lot of live demos. And I'm a nervous typer. So like I'm taking advantage of this tool. Like I 100% appreciate the fact that like it's such an incredible accessibility, but even for people that like maybe not necessarily need an accessibility angle, but I'm like, it's so useful for me. But my colleague, yeah, Kadesha was about to pay the subscription for one of the pay services, and I'm like, no, donate to Handy, like actually sponsor this project. I know that you have contributed to Whisper before. Is that why you decided like open source first for this approach? Like you just wanted it to be open source from the get go?
I knew I wanted it to be open source from the get-go. I think I just like trying to contribute to open source where I can, like whether it be something small or like to be honest, like I didn't expect Handy to take off in the way it did. So like I'm just grateful that everyone is enjoying it and contributing, and like it wouldn't be where it is without all the other contributors. And I'm super grateful that it is open source because it also makes it better for the community as a whole and like takes burden off of me as well. Like it could just serve me, but in fact it can serve a much more broader community as well. So yeah, I think it was like definitely open source from the get-go. It's MIT licensed for a reason. I was like, I want people to take it and do whatever they want with it. And I think like that's like it just deserves to be like that, in my opinion. Like this technology should just be out there for everyone, and it shouldn't be behind a paywall because it does run on virtually like every computer from the past 10 years. So
Absolutely,
you
absolutely.
know,
I mean, why is it like, and honestly, like the wider adoption of like this kind of tools, I think, I mean, that's a bigger problem. We can have a conversation about this for hours about how accessibility is such an afterthought for a lot of the things that, this big people that are big players, like they should care more about that. Because at the end of the day, like legitimately, this will improve the quality of life of everyone, people who need it and for like legitimate reasons, like a broken finger. And then people like me who just get scared when they're typing on a live demo.
100%, 100%. I actually think like largely it's a very underserved area, and that accessibility technology can lead the way for many other people. And in some ways, like there is a lot of like the stuff with the AI models where it's like, vision models do help blind people see. And if you like cater to real people and take
Yes,
care of them as human beings and treat them like a human being, not a product, that you actually lead the way forward for everyone else. Because like, that same technology actually has a lot of benefits for other people. And this is a much deeper conversation. It can go much deeper, but yeah, like I think fundamentally it's an underserved area that has a lot of room for exploration, and ultimately it does benefit a really wide variety of people.
absolutely, absolutely. So, okay, actually, I'm seeing people coming in the chat, and I want to answer a couple of questions first, and then if we can, I mean, we gotta show it. We gotta show what it
Sure.
does, right? We gotta show it. So if I can get you to share the screen and demo, that'd be amazing. But I wanted to acknowledge some of the questions that are coming in, and welcome everyone that's coming in. Thank you so much for being here so early. Thank you, Salija. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Bara. And there was a question from, and actually we were just talking about this before we came on live. And thank you for being here. And McGinns, I'm gonna completely kill your name. I'm so sorry. But one of the questions was, does Handy also work for other languages? And we were literally just talking about this because I was mentioning like it's so accurate for Spanish. Like it's the most accurate thing that I use for Spanish. So the answer is a resounding
The
yes.
answer is it does. Yes. It totally does. And I think definitely like just to be open with it too, in the spirit of open source, like different models have different support for different languages, and Parakeet is one of the models that Handy supports, and it does fairly well on Western-based languages. And Whisper is the other model, and it does better on a variety of other languages, like the Asian languages. It does better. Like I think Parakeet doesn't even support things like Chinese or Thai and things like this. But there is a pretty wide language support. Probably, I would guess about 100 languages in total are supported.
That's pretty impressive. And honestly, as some of these models get better and better, like eventually you think, right, like there's gonna be, it won't even be it'd be a no-brainer. Like whatever the language is, it will be supported, which is really cool. That is very cool. All right, let's see if can we take a look at Handy? And I didn't know that it started as a Python script. Are you a Python developer?
Oh yeah. Python was one of the first languages I ever learned and worked in. I'm not like primarily a Python developer, but I know when to reach for Python, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Fair.
It's like I know this
100%.
can just be a script, so I'll just like write it as a 200. It was like probably 50 lines at the first version, and then I think it ended at like 200 or 400 lines. It's like one of the simplest scripts, really.
That's amazing. Okay, if you want to share your screen, I will cue it up.
Yeah. Let me see.
And welcome. We got folks from Madagascar. Oh my goodness. Welcome from Madagascar. That's so cool. I think you're the first person from Madagascar to ever join. so, so thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
All right, CJ. So what are we looking at?
So I have Handy here, and this is like the main UI. But more or less, like when you first start, it kind of guides you through picking a model and all of this. Right now, I have Parakeet loaded as my model, and I have a bunch of other transcription models. But basically, like all you do is you set a keyboard shortcut. So mine is set to my function key on my Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And when I press my function key and I start talking, you can see at the bottom of my screen here, there's some activity indicator. And when I press the button again, it'll transcribe it and it pastes it directly into the terminal. So this works pretty much. I mean, this works in any text field on any application, and it'll just transcribe exactly what you say and put it into that text field. So that's, I mean, it's funny because like the app, that's like almost it in a nutshell. And there's, some minor things that you can tweak and change. Like if you want push to talk, so you can press and hold the button, and when you release it, it'll do the transcription instead. All of these kinds of things are supported, and there is things like large language model post-processing. Andrea, I don't know if that's something you want me to show. This is like an advanced feature, and it's like very much an alpha feature in my opinion. But
I love it.
I'm happy to show it.
Let's take a look. And just for like point of entry of everyone, like literally this is it. Like you download it and then you pick the model and then you just make sure that your cursor is where you need to have the input appear. And that's it. And that is it. Yes, let's see the alpha. I loved it.
Yeah, so in the advanced settings, I rearranged everything recently, but there's this experimental features toggle, and if you turn it on, there's post-processing down here. So this is something where basically like you can send the transcription to whatever large language model you would like. So I have it running on some open source model, and basically like I have a one that's like translation, because by default, the Whisper models can translate anything to English. But suppose you wanted to like translate to any other language, you could have a large language model take your transcript and translate it into that language. So let me just make sure. Okay. Yeah, so this is me going to translate anything I say directly into Spanish instead. Oh, I hit the wrong key. I also changed this recently, so I'm doing it again. And now whatever I say will be translated into Spanish. And the latency on this is a little longer, but it's still quite quick. So if I probably make this a bit bigger, you can see what I said is in Spanish. hopefully
latency?
It's accurate enough. Yeah, what? Not too bad, right?
That was so fast. That was very fast.
Yeah.
Holy moly. I'm thinking of people that do live captioning. Like, because that's a whole industry and it is a heck of a job. Like, I wonder what they use. I mean, I don't know anything about it. I don't know the first thing about it, but I mean, like, this is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's some models. Mistral just came out with a model, a streaming transcription model. And I think things like that could be potentially really, really good. I really want to get it into Handy as well. So yeah, there's a fair amount of work ahead. But yeah, I think this feature is really interesting. There's all kinds of things you can do, cleaning up transcripts. Someone else just submitted a PR for adding some more like contextual information, like I think even like what window you're in. So depending on like what window you're in, you could have it like understand the context of what you're doing, and post process your transcript based on that. And you could kind of think about this as like starting to get into computer controlling actions and things like that as well, which is I think quite interesting. But yeah, right now this is like alpha feature really meant for people who know how to work with APIs, API keys. Not totally for the general public yet, I think, but if you're familiar with APIs and API keys, then I think this is a pretty interesting feature to play around with. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
So tell me how you're able to offer access to all these models then, like, because we're downloaded, when we download, like what happens when they download the app, I guess, for people who might be watching and they don't quite get like what service is it calling? Am I downloading the
sure.
models locally?
Yeah. So when you first download the app, basically it guides you through a few things. One is like setting accessibility permissions if you have a Mac, to make sure it can actually type, um, as well as microphone access to make sure it can listen to you. But when you download the models are just stored on S3. Basically, it's just like it's stored on the internet. You just download a file from the internet, and this file is the weights of the model, and this all runs locally on your computer. So actually, like as we're doing transcription, if I just started off here, you can see like this is the monitor for my Mac, and when I click it again, you'll see the CPU usage spikes up there just for a second as it actually is doing the transcription. So everything happens all locally. Nothing leaves your machine unless you use post process. But yeah, all the transcription is done locally, works on any machine. You pick, there's just a few different models, and the models are basically like this is almost the hardest thing to explain because you know people who just want something to work, like sometimes you just need parakeet. Like I feel like that's the easiest entry point, but there's different models that perform differently on different machines. But I think for Western based languages, like parakeet v3 is basically just what you should choose. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. And then actually, follow-up question, because I've been pretty impressed with, I don't have a really amazing rig, like because I travel a lot, so like my it's a laptop, right? Like I don't have like a home machine that's like super powerful. But like you don't really need, do you need that much power like to run the application locally? Like I've been impressed because a lot of times, like 9 times out of 10, what I'm using it for is in VS Code,
Yeah.
and I use insiders, and then honestly, there are times that like my computer starts crying, like because but I've been very impressed as like it runs fine. Like it doesn't seem to take a ton of resources, um, as far as like being able to do what you need to do while also using Handy. But what is like, I guess, does it require a certain type of machine and power to be able to use it? Or it works on basically any machine?
I think for the most part, it does work on any machine.
Hmm.
It depends. It really depends on what model you pick. But I think like there are models that you can pick in Handy that will basically run on any machine from the past like 10 years, and that was like something I was very cognizant of when I shipped those models into the application, is to make it accessible to everyone. So I know for a fact like Parakeet, I tested on CPUs from 10 years ago,
Amazing.
and it still works. It may not be as fast as my Mac. My Mac runs it super, super fast. But it'll still work. So yeah, it's fairly accessible. It's fairly lightweight. Like the model's being loaded, maybe like basically when you're not transcribing, it often unloads the model from being on your machine. And when it's actually doing the transcription, it takes maybe like 500, 600 megabytes of RAM. It's,
That's
it's, it's
that's
like not
amazing.
that crazy. Like Slack probably takes more memory than Handy does.
Oh, you better believe it. You better believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I honestly have had like no issues whatsoever. Just it's been like super, like just like butter. It works. It's perfect. I use Parakeet honestly. Like I think, and it's worked great for Spanish too. Like I've been so impressed the accuracy of the transcription, and I have not used the alpha, like the post processing at all yet. What
Yeah.
version is that on? I need to update.
Uh, it's been there for a while. It was way more hidden previously because basically, like, I have absolutely no analytics on the app at all. Like, I have no idea how people use the app. So often I was like hiding things in a debug menu that could only access via keyboard shortcuts. And post processing was in that for the longest time. But now in the latest version, 0.7.0 and 0.7.1, you can just do it through the advanced menu. There's an experimental features checkbox. Here, I'll share again just to
Perfect. Yes.
show. Yeah, you may
Yes,
need to
please.
update.
And
Um,
maybe
yes,
can we share the site as well and the repo so we can take a look at that would be cool.
yes.
I love how clean this is, man. Like it is like this is the thing. Like I love when projects are like well documented. Like this is it, and they're like so clean to use. You're like there is nothing, there is no complications there. You download
I
it. It's
really
done.
just want it to be used by normal people, to be honest. Like, I just want it to be as accessible as possible. So, like, I'm actually like annoyed that there's so many settings and people want more things all the time, and I'm like, no, 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 let's try to keep it simple because like it should just work, you know. Like, I just want it to work. I want it to be where you just install it and you never look at the settings ever again, personally. Um, but people want things, so like there's a balance to be had. But yeah, hopefully you can see, but I have
Yes,
the
yes.
advanced menu open here. And on the latest version, 0.7.0 and onward, there's this experimental features toggle. And if you toggle it on, it enables at the very bottom of this pane, this experimental section, and post-processing. You can toggle this on and off, and it enables this kind of hidden feature. So that's where it is now.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, can we take a look at the repository? And I'm going to share it also for folks who are, have an update available. But honestly, since I upload, I can remember the last time I updated and it works just beautifully. So it's
Yeah,
like,
honestly, like, you don't even need to update, I feel like.
yes.
Like, I think
Yeah,
there's probably still people who are using, like, one of the earliest versions, like, from the first month I released it, and they probably just never updated it.
I love
Because,
it.
like, it still fundamentally is the same app.
I
It does
love
the
it.
same thing. Yeah. So, but
So,
yeah, this is the repo. I don't know if there's anything specific that you want me to share on it.
well, you got like over 60 contributors to the project now, right? Like that's the folks that have actually
Yeah.
like, I guess either like submitted PRs. What kind of contributions? First of all, selfish requests, right? Like
Yeah.
for what those folks who are watching this and are like cracked out mobile developers, like you want to add an app to it that I can put on my phone, that would be awesome.
This is number one request.
How many people ask that all the time? Honestly, because
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, I'm an iPhone user and oh god, it's horrible. Like it's just fail at every single point. Every voice to text and it's like absolutely horrific. And changing between languages, you can forget it. It's so bad. Oh no, wait,
Yes.
there is the discussion. Yeah.
Yeah,
When
for the Android, there is. I'm almost certain. I probably closed the iOS app one. We'll see. But I actually am working on it as well.
you are.
Yeah. I am.
That's
One of my
phenomenal.
one of my good friends is kind of pushing me on it. He's like, "You should do it," and I'm like, "Okay, maybe I should do it. Maybe I should do it." But
Um,
yeah, someone in the community has created an Android app here, based on my Rust library, which does the transcription.
okay.
So, yeah, there's this guy's app, and I point a bunch of people to it. I actually haven't used it myself. I know it uses Parakeet, but other than that, I have no idea anything about this app. So, but I guess it does transcription. Apparently live subtitles too. That's cool.
Oh no, wait,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah. But yeah, I think I probably will have an iOS app version. I don't know if that one will be. It probably will be open source, but I might make it like $5 on the App Store just because.
As well, you should. Yeah, no, as 100%.
Yeah.
And like you said, like honestly, like people, like for folks that have the ability, like it's open source. Like right now, if you too wanted to build your app, you could go do it. But I think like if you publish it on the App Store, like I will gladly subscribe to it. Like that's absolutely sensible. Um, let's take a quick look at a question that I came in because as we were talking about upgrades, this is there a single update function or do we need to reinstall the whole thing? No, you don't need to reinstall the whole thing, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, but on the app itself, there is a check for updates button, right? And that's it?
Yes, there is a check for updates button. Definitely on macOS, at least everything works fine. On Windows, like I haven't had a Windows machine or Linux machine to test on for at least 3 months now. So I think I've gotten some reports that it's maybe not 100% perfect on Windows and Linux. It should update in place, but I've heard some reports that maybe it leaves traces of the old apps still around. So I don't 100% know, but I think it works. I need more people to tell me. I just got a Windows machine recently, so I'll be testing it myself. But it more or less should update in place.
Perfect. Yeah, that's one of the best features of the app. And honestly, because I haven't looked at it because I haven't needed it. But now that you show me the experimental things, I want to try them. So I was like, oh yeah, it's right there. Click a button, it's done. Since we've been talking, I updated my app, so it's all fine.
Oh, did it work just fine for you? Like
Yeah,
you
it
just
worked.
updated it and it worked in
It's done.
place? Right.
I'm in
Great.
it now. I'm in
Amazing.
it. I'm now on 0.7.1. So
Nice.
yeah, it's done. And then we have another question. Marcelo says, create a Flutter app and distribute it. Marcelo, you too can create a Flutter app and distribute it to all app. Honestly, and I do like Flutter, but it sounds like there is already like a Android in flight. But I'm team. Let's pay CJ for the app. Once it's on the app store, okay, let's do it.
I gladly accept donations.
Yeah.
And technically, Towery is cross-platform as well, which is what Handy is written in for iOS and Android as well. It's just like fundamentally how you're going to use the app is so different between a phone and a desktop device that I think it really warrants a different repo.
Amazing. Okay, so listen what is happening in a spam of 2 minutes. I want to show this because this is why open source, it just, all right, the spam of 2 minutes. Our friend joined, installed it. Hey, how do you translate things on the fly? And maybe we can go back and quickly show that after this. And then 30 seconds later, it works like a charm. In a span of 3 minutes, you went from installation to like, oh snap, that's what it's meant to. Thank you so much, Morgan, for being here. Appreciate you. Let's take a quick look at that because again, selfishly for me, because I'm gonna start playing with this too. So from advanced.
Yes, so from advanced, like if you're just in the app in general right now, you would go to advanced, turn on the experimental features, and then from there, you can scroll all the way down and enable post-processing. And why post-processing is like a slightly advanced feature is, okay, so also I'm on a development build right now. So this will probably ship tomorrow at this point, but there's going to be another dedicated hotkey for post-processing. So basically in the current version, what will happen is, I'll just open it actually. Let's do that. In the current version, what'll happen is this is the screen you'll be at, and there won't be that key. So basically, like whatever you set as your transcribe key will also be the key that the post-processing will go through. So from here, you can pick a bunch of different providers for basically the post-processing is going to a large language model. So you can pick some different post-processing provider. I have it set to Grok. Probably I was testing it, and they're also very fast. Which is why I have it set this way. And you need to get an API key from them. I believe they have free API keys right now. I'm not 100% sure if that's true, but it used to be the case.
Oh, nice.
And if you hit this little refresh button, it'll go fetch all of the models that you can pick from that provider. And I just have GPT OSS as the model picked because it's small and fast and probably very cheap, even if it's not a free API key. And then from there, basically I created a new prompt. So you could go in and hit this create a new prompt button. You can give it a name, like maybe it's like translate to Chinese. And it kind of tries to guide you through how you might use this. So you could write something like, take the given text and just output the text in Chinese or something like this. And theoretically, when I go and speak into it now, this is a test, and we should see a translation into Chinese. Well,
Listen, live demos.
this is always demos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see
theoretically, it should just work, but
I mean, when you were in Tmux earlier in Spanish, it did it in like perfectly.
It's also possible that like there's some conflicts with my development build, where the development build like is making like some keyboard shortcuts or something like this, like not get registered properly when I go back to the other version, because they share a bunch of stuff. But okay, let's try this. Let's see if it works. Maybe I need a different prompt. Maybe my prompt is bad. Okay, this is a test to see if the text will go in Chinese. Okay. Yeah, there it is.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, so good. And was that, I don't speak Chinese, was that accurate? Like, was that correct?
I'm in Taiwan to learn Chinese, so I couldn't say. I can verify hello though. Hello.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's ni hao for sure. So
hey, good job, Handy. Yeah. Awesome. Question from Morgan again. So the translation is not done on the local machine.
Okay, so it depends what translation you want to do. And basically what that means is there are some models that you can pick within Handy. Whisper is one of them. Whisper Medium is my favorite Whisper model. And you can actually pick what language, basically like you can have it translate to English. So the translation can be done into English. If you set this language here and then in advanced, translate to English, it'll translate whatever you say into English. Oh man, my Spanish is so bad. I feel horrible. Yo hablo un poco español.
That está muy bien. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so it'll translate my kind of broken Spanish into into English. So there is that level of translation, but a lot of the models don't support this out of the box. The Whisper models do support this feature, but if you're trying to translate like any language to any language, at the moment, post-processing is really the only way to do this, because a lot of the models are just not trained to translate to any language yet.
Have you found that some models are better for certain languages than others? Like spoken languages.
Yeah, I feel like every model has its quirks. Like Parakeet definitely has quirks in how it transcribes. Same thing with Whisper. So you almost have to kind of play and see which ones are best for you. I think Parakeet overall is the best. Like the vibe of it is the best, but it has some quirks with like numbers, you know, it likes to put numbers as like the written number as opposed to like the number you would see on your keyboard.
Oh, so, interesting.
Yeah, but like Whisper, if you speak numbers, like I think if I speak like 1 2 3, it'll this is test 123 1 2 3.
Yeah.
Like Whisper will pretty much get this like perfect every time. Whereas if I do the same thing in Parakeet, it probably will be a bit different. This is a test 1 2 3 123. Right.
So it spells it out. Oh, that's so interesting.
It spells it out. And like actually this is one of the things in post-processing that like I have by default, this improved transcriptions one. And this basically gives like a prompt of like fix errors, right? If there's a transcription error, fix it. Turning numbers into the written form or like the numerical form. And when people say things like period or comma to replace those appropriately, removing like Parakeet really likes to be extraordinary, like super literal with the transcription. So it can actually, with post-processing, just replace those things. And then, yeah, just keeping the original language and other things. And actually, someone also just started a discussion the other day, which I really hope more people will contribute to share your post-processing prompts. This is super good. Like
Phenomenal.
he put his full prompt in here, and I think that this is like a super good thing for when more people like need to look for good prompts, or a lot of these kinds of things we might be able to just like build into the app as defaults as people find good ones that work for them. So
I love that. Honestly, I was gonna just compliment your base prompt is fantastic, and then you can update it right there. So if like for example, the one that this person shared, like this is a really good one too. But take the pieces, or again, it's your app, so take the pieces of what's important to you. Some people might, I guess, depends on the context you're using. Some people might want the numbers spelled out.
right.
But it's very cool, very very cool. What kind of issues you got open? Like, what do you need help with? Where can we
Oh
motivate
wow.
people to contribute to this project? I mean, you
Wow,
can also
wow.
sponsor, and we're gonna talk about that after. But let's talk about like for the project itself. Like, what kind of contributions would you like folks to like really come in and take a part of?
Wow. The biggest things that I'm focused on right now are stability across as many platforms as possible and systems as possible. That's really what I want the most help with. Um, because I think if we have a really strong base app for everyone, it really then enables like us as a community to build the next set of features and make them really good, because we'll have at least like a really solid core foundation. Um, I actually have a lot of things that I'm interested in people contributing, so I'll continue in a second. But in the issues tab, there's a ton of issues, like often particularly on Linux or small race conditions, just all kinds of random stuff, and a lot of them are legitimate issues. So anyone who wants to take a stab at any of these, I am always so grateful when someone takes an issue and tries to solve it. And we actually have a bunch of outstanding pull requests that I'm going through right now about improving Linux. Linux on the whole, uh, it's really hard. So Wayland users on Linux, it's probably the hardest system to support
Mm-hmm.
because of how Wayland does global keyboard shortcuts. And so anyone who's on that platform and wants to either be a tester or contribute code or whatever would be super massively helpful. Also, anyone who wants to contribute new models, I maintain another repo, transcribe.rs, which is just like implementations of the models in Rust so they can be used in Handy, as well as anyone who wants to do transcription in Rust. This is a fairly simple wrapper, API wrapper, basically, around the models, just to make it a very easy package. So you just give it audio samples and it transcribes. So anyone who wants to contribute models to this repo, I would be super grateful for, as well as any types of acceleration, CUDA, Rockham, Metal, Vulkan, basically anything to accelerate the project and make it run faster for everyone is like totally would be amazing. And specifically, and then I'll point out one more, and then I'll leave it there for a sec, which is anyone who is a designer. I would super love any design help, because as we start to stabilize the app more and uh, think about new features, things like post processing, things like text replacements,
Mm-hmm.
or any new features that people want. Like I think UI and UX is often the biggest blocking factor for me to merge things. Like everything technically is possible and almost easy at this point, but the hard thing is making it a really good UI for people to use, I think. So anyone who wants to contribute UI, UX help is, you would be amazing. So yes.
There you have it, friends. If this is that's your forte, like come give a meaningful contribution. Like, I mean, it's so fast though. I love what you just said though. This is why open source again, open source. You're like, technically I can do anything, but like that's kind of like a tiny blind spot. Like if you can get someone to come in and focus on that UIX experience, that will make a big difference. I love that. Here's a question for, it's not a controversial question, but so
Oh,
this is in Rust, right? Like why Rust? I know the answer, but
no, I probably have a very different answer than most
oh,
people.
please. I know I would know about what my answer would be, but you tell me. You tell me why.
Yeah, like to be honest, like I had just heard about Towery, which is the framework behind like what makes this cross-platform and everything. And
Mhm.
I had no Rust experience before,
Oh,
and
no way.
I just wanted to play with Tauri because I knew it existed, and I really didn't want to ship an Electron app.
Mhm.
Though maybe Electron actually would have been the smarter choice. I really don't know. It's really hard to say. I think just developing cross-platform apps is quite challenging.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I just wanted to play with it because I knew it would ship a much smaller binary, like it would be only 20 megabytes or something.
That's
But
what
you
I was thinking, that it was at yeah, like you wanted to keep it nice and tidy and clean, and that was like an excellent way to do that, and like kind of cock back, but like super effective. Like it works beautifully. Awesome. Okay. So there are tons of issues open. Folks, you can be part of the community. You can download the app and hand it that computer. Um, if please go and start the project right now. Let's get this project trending. And then let's do it. You have a Discord server for like your community. I see that there is discussions as well enabled on the.
yes.
Okay, perfect. So like for folks that want to contribute, like join the Discord server for sure first. I don't know if you got a team. Have you got some core maintainers helping you out or?
I'm the primary maintainer. I
Okay.
would say there's a few folks who are definitely stepping up and helping me, but I am the primary maintainer by far for now. But I am looking for other like core contributors and uh, distributing the maintenance burden.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So you can right now at a $0 or peso cost to you, go and start the project. So do that right now if you're watching. If you're watching after the fact, still go do it. For sure. And then you do have a couple of sponsorship options I want to make sure that we share for folks like me who I would love to like dig into. And like when I saw it was Rust, I was like, ooh, this, because I'm very curious and like want to
Mm.
learn Rust, but I've started and failed, like just not put the time in it. But you can also sponsor the project. So you can also contribute in other ways. And you have sponsors as well as a PayPal, a Buy Me a Coffee, and a Ko-fi as well. So any bit counts. Like honestly, like if you use the app, like just help support it. It's such a good app. I love for this to forever stay open source. I love for you to do that iOS app because I'm selfish and I will pay for it. But no, that's just phenomenal, honestly. And then I don't know if there is anything else that any other kind of support that you think like the community can help. I'm honestly talking about it. Like I've been so surprised at the amount of people that I have introduced to the app just by either using it during their like, oh, what was that? Because they can see the bottom of my screen and they will see like
Mm.
they're like, what did you just do? And I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. So definitely share it. Like it's such a good app, CJ. You done us all a great service. Your finger did. Your finger did a great thing. That's awesome. 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 Okay. And so I know you're in Taiwan for studying now. Where are you normally when you're not overseas? Are you based overseas?
I guess right now I am based overseas.
Okay.
I was living in San Diego the past 11 years, but
Okay.
right now I'm traveling and primarily in Asia. So yeah, if
Okay.
there's folks in Asia, I'm super happy to meet up and talk about whatever and open source and yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yes, please take CJ up on that. I'm gonna post a link to the project right now here, and then as well as like the other links for you to contribute to it. There is also a donate button on the website, so you can just click on that too, and that will take you directly to it. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Anything else you want to show us? I think we cover a
I
lot of
think
it.
we covered a lot. I really just want to be super open and be like, please contribute. Really, it's really great when I see new pull requests that are well thought out and like really meaningful. So any contributions are super helpful. So yeah, please contribute. It's open
Very
source.
cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, like this is like a year old. How old is the project? It's not even, wait, is it a little over a
uh,
year?
no, this project itself was launched probably 6 or 7 months ago. It's fairly new.
That is absolutely wild. Like, um, Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. So I can't wait to see what's next. What are you working on for the project now that is like coming up that we can see, I guess
Mm.
we can look forward to?
Yeah, coming up, I think a lot of new models. There
Yeah.
have been a lot of new transcription models coming out the past, like basically this past month, as well as streaming transcriptions. I think these are the two big core features that I'm working on in kind of the back end and silently, and thinking about all the time. So streaming transcriptions will be the more like how it works on iOS, where it transcribes as you're talking. So that will be coming in future versions for sure. And yeah, some of the new models will be coming, and I think there will be even higher accuracy with some of these new models, which will be cool. As well as yeah, I think those are the big things. We have some UI changes in the works as well that are being worked on right now. A bunch of new translations are coming through the app all the time. Better Linux support is for sure coming. Fixing some remaining bugs on Windows. Yeah, there's lots of stuff that's coming, but I think the models are the primary thing, and also yeah, been rewriting the keyboard implementation, global shortcut implementation. So slowly chipping away at that and trying to make it really stable and really good on all platforms as well.
I love it, man. Thank you so much, CJ. I this is like one of my favorite open source projects, man. I'm so pleased that you accepted the invitation. Like, thank you for showing it. And I can't wait to see. I mean, 6 months from now, my gosh, this is like 6 months old as well. 6 months from now,
Every
there's no telling. It's insane.
everything is so fast these days.
I know. It's unbelievable. Speed is the mode, I guess. But thank you, CJ. I'll share your X. Is there any
Mhm.
other place like well that's primarily where people can follow you, yeah? I'll share it
Yeah,
one more
X
time.
is great. X is great, or yeah, like GitHub. I think these are like the two primary places that I exist in the tech world for sure.
Awesome. 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 Okay. So let me share that one more time. And then friends, if you end up contributing to the project, whether it be a sponsorship contribution or a technical contribution into the project, please send me a DM. I'll send you a little something. Please do. So this is amazing. All right. I'm going to share. I've shared your X. I'm going to put the banner for the actual site. Oh, I think I'll do it. I'll do it the other way around. Let's do this so that you can, we leave it on that so that it closes out and folks can see it and go give it an installation. Honestly, like try it out. Try it out. You might get inspired to actually contribute. But it's phenomenal. A phenomenal project. Thank you so much, CJ, for being here. Super appreciate your time and thank you for this awesome project.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Andrea. It's been such a pleasure. This is great.
Yay,
So
I'm so glad
thank you
we
so
made it
much.
work out. I was like, we're like so far away in time zones. I'm like, we gotta make it work out somehow. So thank you for staying up late. I know it's the end of your day.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for getting up early.
Yeah, fine. All right. You have to come back in a year from now. Please come back when you launch that iOS app. I'll help
Okay.
show the heck out of that. So thank you.
Yeah, maybe cross fingers. I would say maybe within a month. Definitely within 3 months. I hope.
Unbelievable. Amazing. Amazing. I'm here for it. Thanks, CJ. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. How cool is that app, you friends? I'm like, I love it when I get to talk to people that build things that I absolutely adore. And this is phenomenal. If you haven't tried Handy That Computer, go give it a go. While we were streaming, I literally upgraded to the latest version, enabled the experimental features, put in my Grok API key. Like, it is such a beautifully and just it's beautifully architecturally simple enough. I think CJ really made the point that he wanted it to be used by anyone. And it's, I mean, it is. It's like, so it's such a good, easy entry. So please give it a go. Please try it out. At the very least, my friends, and you know, we got to do that here on Open Source Friday. I need you to go to the repo and drop a star. And I'm going to put the link to the repo, and that's what we're going to close on. Let's see the stars growing. Let's get this project trending. Thank you for joining me on this super early Open Source Friday. Don't go too far. It's in about 2 hours, 9, 10, 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. In about 2 hours, I'm going to have a moment of inception. We're going to have an Open Source Friday project that belongs, actually is maintained and it was created by GitHub. So I feel like we've had the CLI folks here from the GitHub CLI before. I don't think we've not even have the VS Code folks yet for an Open Source Friday, but we are going to have one of the engineers from the SDK join us, and he's going to show us how to use the SDK so you can bring the intelligence of the Copilot CLI into whatever it is that you're building. If you tune into this channel or you follow me on my channels, you've seen that I've been tinkering a little bit, trying to bring Copilot to help me summarize issues for my little play app issue crush. There is so many things you can do with the SDK. It honestly unlocks the possibility of you selecting, because this is what I think we get it a lot wrong. Like, just because things are available doesn't mean you need to use them all. But you can curate the experience for you and your users as far as how much or how little AI you want in your applications. For my use case, for my app, that's exactly what I needed to do, exactly when I wanted to do it. And the Copilot SDK made that possible. So join me in 2 hours so we can learn all about the GitHub Copilot SDK. Also, for you folks who are getting into open source, and this is a phenomenal project, like, contribute to this project 100%. If you're in the developer tool space, and if you're interested in AI, come back at 11 in 2 hours or whatever it is time it is where you are, so that you can learn, because it's a pretty new project, and it's a good point of entry for you if you wanted to like figure out how to get in a project from the ground up. So I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. Again, how do you enable the experimental features? I'm gonna see if I can tell you quickly from my app. So you open Handy, and then I closed out the window and now I can't find it, my friend. But if you go into, I think it's advanced. Let me go back to my. Wow, I hit it so well because it was like all the windows were open in my machine, and it was kind of crashing there for a moment. But let me find it real quick. But basically, in advanced, there is an enable. I think it's like enable experimental or enable advanced features. If I could get my app to pop up, I would show you, my friend. But I'll tell you what, because I'm going to close it out here, and I think my machine is how hot all it could. I got too many things open at the moment. But I will share it on my socials, yeah? So just in 2 seconds, you'll see it from, if you live in the hell that I live in, which is X. You'll see it there, because right now it's completely crashed out, but it wasn't Handy. It was the 5 other things I had open my computer. So I'll see you in about 2 hours. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support of open source. You're awesome. Please go start this project and contribute if you can. Again, you can sponsor for as little or as much as you can. And if you have technical contributions that you want to give, that's even better. Let's make this project even greater than it is now. Thank you for being here. I will see you in a few moments. I'm going to leave you with the video of the SDK launch. I think I got a video for that somewhere in here, because I want you to see what it is. So when you join me, you're like, okay, yeah, this is the thing. Oh yeah, I do have it. So take a look at what the SDK can do, and then join me in 2 hours to see what it can do for you.